going on, everybody out there? How you doing? Welcome to the Eye Test. I'm your host, Mark Holes. I'm with my boy, Sean Redacted, and my man, Tyrone. So you know what time it is. It's time to get into this UFC shit. As always, we're about to get into it. UFC 260 just closed out. So we're going to recap a little bit. I'm not going to do much because I only caught the last two fights, but but that's the only fights that really mattered to me. 260 in general, I wasn't excited for it, but nobody that I was looking forward to. And we're going to get into a little bit of this Deshaun Watson stuff a little bit more because it's still going on. And we're going to get into basically just whole behavior in sports in general, because there's a lot of whole behavior in sports. And when I say whole behavior, for those that don't know, I'm talking about lame ass behavior, shit that you shouldn't be out here doing, but you out here doing it. So Dana White, I'm talking to you, motherfucker, and I'm talking to everybody else too. So we're going to get into it, and as usual, I'm going to say, "What's up?" to my guys. Tyrone, how you doing, brother?
Doing well. Blessed to be here.
Looking swole nation up. I see you biceps popping in the red shirt and shit. I see you.
I'm back in the gym, brother. I'm back in the gym.
It makes me not want to get these jokes off. I'm kind of scared, but
I'm waiting for them. I got some jokes, but I'll hold on to them for now.
Well, we states away, so I'm still going to do it anyway. Sean, how you doing, bro?
Good, man. Doing all right. It's a good Tuesday, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we got. Good Tuesday.
That's it, brother. It's a good Tuesday. That's it. I mean, does it need to be better than that? I mean, can I just have a good Tuesday?
I guess you're allowed. I don't know. Hey, the sun should shine on the dog's ass every once in a while.
Let's get into this Tyrone shit. I said I got something for you, Tyrone. Look, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. But I'm gonna need something from you, just a favor, real quick. I'm gonna need you to stop taking your wife out for steak dinners every week and just gallivanting that shit all on Facebook, dog. Dog, I gotta look at a fucking post. I gotta look at a post of Tyrone eating a nice steak. You know what I'm saying? Is that you just gonna flex? Like, not only is he flexing on us right now on camera, Mark, but he wants to flex on social media with his steak dinners. So, you know what I mean? There's only so much I can take, man. He don't even like. Look, man, I understand you trying to treat your wife nice. That's cool, man. Like, you ain't gonna take us out for a steak. You know what I'm saying? We can't have a steak together.
Hey, man, tell me that you don't feel attractive enough or something, and yeah, we can go out. I'll take you out for a steak dinner, man.
Yeah, dog. Yeah.
Look, I'll tell you I'm missing a pinky toe if it'll stop you from at least, if you're not gonna take me out, I just want you to stop posting the pictures on my I mean, I know you posted it on yours, but it ends up on mine, and then I gotta see it, and then I gotta hope my wife ain't looking over my shoulder. Like, oh damn, Tyrone, he's taking his wife out every week. You know what I mean? Like,
take the truth, bro. Like, she got spoiled. She's like, hey, can we just stay home this week? Like, what? Like, I was looking forward to Monday steak night or Italian or whatever. She ain't got spoiled, so we didn't do it this week.
I don't care about any of that. As long as when I come back to my second home, this nigga tossed me the keys to the lamb, we good. As long as he tossed me the keys to the lamb one time, we good. We straight. Hey, he the one who taught me how to drive stick, so it's only right that I go ahead and just hit the stick shift a couple times, hit the switches on them, switches on.
Mark, Lamborghinis don't have sticks; they paddles.
That's what I said. I hit the switches on them.
Okay.
I corrected myself. I said hit the switches on them, and I did the move.
But you see how that's a weird flex too. It's like everybody knows Lamborghinis don't have that. No, just you. Just people that own Lamborghinis, but I didn't know that. Like,
you didn't know that? Well, I knew that. I did know that it was all.
Tyrone's obviously living a different lifestyle than the rest of us, Mark.
Yeah.
So
clearly.
you know what I'm saying.
Clearly.
Mark said he just wants to come back, get a taste of the lifestyle. That's it. Just a little. You know what I'm saying. a little side dish.
He was supposed to come back last April, but COVID messed that up. And we was gonna have a
Yeah.
good time. So when he get out here, we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID messed up for you guys out there. We got distracted, but COVID did mess it up last year. We were supposed to originally start the podcast with the draft,
Yeah.
like with the NFL draft, but COVID messed that up, and that's not how things were able to get started. Enough of the chit chat. We're going to get into it. UFC 260, all right? UFC 260, Stipe versus Ngannou, part 2. All right, normal way I start things off, man. How did you guys like the card overall?
I'll let Sean go first.
Oh no, man! I made it very clear. I was only interested in one fight, so I did not catch any other fight other than Stipe Ngannou fight.
All right, Tyrone.
It was one of those cards that got it done again. It wasn't anything spectacular to me. Everybody was watching the main event, Ngannou versus Stipe fight, and the only reason people cared about the card because they wanted to know who Jon Jones would potentially face. So that's why that card existed. I think that's the reason why so many people watched and why it was an important card.
Okay. Did any of the prelims or any other main card fights stick out to you?
I like the Sean O'Malley fight. He's coming off a loss that I feel that he probably shouldn't have gotten if it wasn't for his leg.
Uh-huh.
Then the Tyrone, they call him the chosen one, but I've been referring to him as the frozen one, Woodley. Tyrone for the frozen one, Woodley. But he didn't come out frozen this time. He just, I don't know what he was working on, bro. Like, I don't know what kind of. I think you harp a lot on the fights about boxing and skill and defense. You would have lost your shit on this one just based off the. You'd have lost your shit. He just came out there just swinging hands down, chin up. You know what I mean? And he caught one, and he was drunk for he was chicken legging for about. I think he held the record in UFC chicken legs for probably about 60 seconds before he got choked out. He was chicken legged across the. He was looking for help. He was looking for something. He was holding on to the fence for dear life. It was fear. It was sad to see,
Yeah. Like once upon a time, he was feared.
Yeah,
like
he was.
He was feared once upon a time, and now like you look at him, like it's sad to see. But he was, I do believe, was he retired from the UFC this week?
So that was the last fight on his contract with UFC. With that loss, that's 4 losses in a row since being champion, and I think he knew that they weren't going to renew his contract, so he just went ahead and just ended that fight, and he's free agent now.
Okay. Well,
I didn't get fired. I quit.
Yeah, I resigned. Like that way, I didn't get kicked out. Looks good. It looks better on your resume, I guess.
You know what I'm saying? The contract was over. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what, man? I think this relationship's run its course. You got washed 4 times. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's funny that you say he kind of knew, because me and Sean talked about it last week. It didn't end up making the episode, but we did talk about it last week, and it seemed like Stipe kind of knew as well, because Stipe was talking about boxing, talking about that he wanted to box Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, he had a major UFC fight coming up, and lo and behold, he comes into this UFC fight, and Ngannou just whoops his ass up and down the ring throughout the fight, seemingly. So in this main event, I personally expected Stipe to kind of do the same thing that he did in the last fight, because he won in unanimous fashion. I felt as though that was a convincing victory, because it wasn't off a flukish knockout or anything like that. But clearly I was incorrect. This is the first time I've seen, at least the first time I can remember, I've seen a complete turnaround in a fight, like where one guy loses in convincing fashion the first time, and the other guy loses in convincing fashion the second time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Usually in these back to backs, when it goes back and forth, it's because the fights were close. Like, this is the first time I've seen it where it was no, the fight wasn't close the first time, and the damn sure wasn't close the second time, but it was two different victors. Do you recall a fight that ever happened like that before, Tyrone?
Yeah. Well, no, not really. Well, I guess you can say the DC Stipe fight. The first fight, DC just knocked him out cold. I think
Yeah,
within the first round, it was like boom, caught him with a clinch uppercut, knocked him out,
but
and it
that was
was
just
it was no contest. It was like wow, like he did that. You know what I mean? He did that. Like that was, you know what I mean? He didn't struggle with it. He took no damage. And he did that. And then the second fight, Stipe had to work for that, but he did get the knockout around I think late fourth round. And then
mhm.
the third fight, it went to a decision. I believe it went to a decision. I may be wrong, but so yeah, but that was the only fight. I've never seen it like even with Stipe beating Francis, it took him, almost all 5 rounds to do so. It
Mhm.
wasn't like he went in there and just hit him one
No,
time, knocked him out. So he worked for it, and I think he took real bad damage the first round as well.
but
Um,
that's what I mean. Like, he worked for it the first time
yeah,
and won convincingly, so I didn't expect him to lose. like not get worked. Like, he got worked this time. Like, that's weird. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, he did, but when he was taking damage the first round, it was kind of like a replay of what happened last time. It was kind of like, okay, we already know in the first round he took mad damage. Ngannou got winded, and then that's when he started to work, on tiring him out. So I figured he was going to take some real bad damage the first round, like he did the first fight, but he never turned his engine on. He never fired off all his cylinders. And then after he went for that takedown and it got stuffed, I knew it was a wrap. I
yeah,
knew it was a wrap.
when you have somebody like Ngannou just lay on you like that, what you gonna do? Like, Ngannou looks like, you see big people, like people that are big, but they don't look heavy. Like, they don't, like, he looks dense. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like, he looks like a weight. Like, he looks dense.
yeah,
Like, he
Yeah,
just
like well let's keep like I've never seen. There's only two other fighters that I've seen that were as big as him. That what you talk about look heavy, like other than Brock and Overeem, like who's and to me he looks a little more solid than them two.
exactly.
So like, dog, it's ridiculous. I don't know what that would feel like, or how difficult that would be to deal with. But I know that shit cannot be fun like that. I mean, that's what you're hoping. Your game plan has to be like, look, by all means, make sure this guy doesn't like, fall on top of you, or you can't let him attempt to take down. You know what I mean? Like, but are we talk? So are we officially talking about the fight? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
yeah.
all right, so yeah, man. What I saw was what happened in the first round is what I expected in the first round of a fight. The title. Hey, we're gonna go into this. We're gonna kind of both fighters feeling each other out, testing the boundaries, trying to see what kind of reactions they're gonna get from certain things. Everybody's they're doing their homework in the first round, and I felt like you know it's just one of those rounds where it's like, okay, I don't even know what happened in that first round. We're gonna really see the fight start to take place in the second round, and what I saw was an, a ridiculous amount of confidence. Like Ngannou knew that he had them because he came out very aggressive. I mean, he is an aggressive fighter, but he came out with what I felt like was a good amount of confidence to know that hey man, I can come in here and attack him, and I'm safe to do so. Stipe did Stipe did get one good hit on him while he was trying to stop himself from falling to the mat, after getting hit by Ngannou. He did get a straight right in there that kind of staggered Ngannou a little bit. But, I mean, there was already blood in the water at that point in time. But to me, I think Stipe's mistake, or I don't even know if you want to call it a mistake, he came out in the second round and he wasn't ready. Like, Ngannou already knew exactly what he wanted to do and he was ready to do it. Stipe came out in the second round and he was a little sluggish, and it was like Stipe was not prepared for the aggressive that he was facing in the beginning of the second round. Like, he wasn't protecting himself. It got like, once you see somebody just start backpedaling and running backwards, that person does not have a plan. So they're thinking of what to do, and they're just, hey, I got to get out of the way while I'm thinking, so I don't get knocked the fuck out. And sure shit, that's what it looked like. Whatever happened in the first round, Ngannou saw something he liked, and Stipe did not find anything that he liked, and it just, and you see the result.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. It was pointed out to me earlier in watching breakdowns of the fight that Ngannou was definitely going. He was going to the body more in this fight, and that was helping him stuff takedowns, simply because, like, if you duck your head down there at the wrong time, he's going to catch you because he's already going to your body. Like,
Yeah.
so that worked in Ngannou's favor as well. I will say this though. When Stipe beat Cormier, when he beat DC, that everybody was anointing him the GOAT of the heavyweight division. And I came on here and I was like, he's not my GOAT for heavyweight division. I don't see how you could call him the greatest heavyweight. And this is a prime example. This isn't that fight isn't GOAT behavior. You don't see GOATs get demolished like that, get taken apart in a game like that. And, like, you just don't see that.
No.
And so now, some people are preemptively crowning Ngannou and all that stuff, but it is what it is. Tyrone, you have any last thoughts about that fight?
Yeah, so I won't bash Stipe altogether.
Oh, I'm not bashing him. I'm
I'm not saying
bashing the
I'm not
people
saying you are, but a lot of people are just kind of like discounting them. You know what I mean? Just like they just discount them. And what I will say is this: I will bring up a couple factors. So we all talked about some of our favorite fighters during the COVID season losing, and we don't know how they were on a winning streak. We thought maybe the crowd had something to do with it. But what I will say does have to do with a lot of the different things that's been happening over here is they've been having a lot of these events as small events. And if people don't know or realize this, the octagon, the UFC uses different sizes of octagon.
Mm-hmm.
Small events, they use a smaller octagon. And large events, they use, like in arenas, they use a bigger octagon. The big octagon is about 900 feet or something, or so to say. And the smaller octagon is about 500 square feet. It was talk a while back that saying there was a handicap. When you use this bigger octagon, you have a lower finish rate. I think the finish rate for the larger octagon is a 48% finish rate. So fights go longer because these guys have more space to operate. They have more space to work a game plan and things like that. In this smaller octagon, which they used in the second fight, this rematch, they used a smaller octagon, you got a 60% finish rate. So that's why we've been seeing a lot of knockouts over this COVID.
Nowhere to go.
It's just been crazy knockouts because it ain't nowhere to go. You got to take it. Somebody like Ngannou, I made a joke like, this guy's big, he's huge, he was bigger than Stipe. Literally, all he had to do was stand in the middle of the ring, put his arms out, and just spin around. He was gonna knock this guy out. So I kind of expected him to knock him out just because you put in this smaller heavyweight in this little corner in a dog cage with this big pit bull of a man, you know what's going to happen. He had nowhere to operate, so I expected it to happen. Will we see a 3? We don't know. But I expected Ngannou to win because he cut the octagon off. There was nowhere to run. Like in the first fight, they did a lot of running. And then it caused Ngannou to try to track him down, run him down, cut him off. He expended energy. So with that said, I mean, when you're put in a corner, when you're put into a jail cell with Ngannou, like, you're not going to win that fight. If I was Stipe, I would have been like, hey, guys, for UFC 261, y'all guys are doing this in Jacksonville, Florida, in an arena, sold out. Why not do 262 when I can get a full-size arena? Like, I don't want to fight this guy in a coat closet. I want to fight this guy like I had before. So,
yeah.
Let me ask you, do you think it's fair to the fighters in general to have different size ring?
Me personally, no. But as a fighter, I can see those guys. I can see Dana being the way he is, like, oh, he's making excuses, so he doesn't want to fight him, so I'm going to give the shot to somebody else. You know, I see him poking at a fighter's pride, saying, if you're a real fighter, if you really are the GOAT, then you don't need, handicaps, or you don't need certain circumstances to win. You'll find a way to win. If I was champion, like, I'm be like, nah, son, you're going to have to give me that full-size octagon because that's what I've been fighting in all this time. So,
yeah,
Like,
that's the one thing that boxing or boxers have always had an advantage of over UFC fighters and mixed martial art fighters. They come up with their own stipulations. I always looked at that in boxing as a way for people to duck people, a way for people to run without actually running. But in this case, it's a situation where, damn, you at least, this is the other far end of the spectrum where it's like, damn, I can't even decline a fight that's going to be conditions that I'm not used to or are out of the norm. Because if I decline this, I might not get this opportunity again. It's like that their hands are tied. I feel like there should be more rights when it comes to the UFC fighters, when it comes to this type of thing.
Well, I don't even necessarily feel as though it should be rights or anything like that. I just feel as though there should be a standard. There should be a standard set. Like, everybody prepares under the same standard. I don't and you're right when the comparison to boxing where you have like, oh, this guy wants you to use 8-ounce gloves and this guy wants you to use 12-ounce gloves or blah, blah, blah. Like, that's a bunch of nonsense. Like, no, there should be a standard for the match. Like, that there shouldn't be all this variations and variables that are going around. That's a bunch of bullshit. They need to figure out whatever is going to be the standard and let that be that.
Yeah. That solves any other issue there is. It's just having a drawn out standard. So I feel you on that. So one thing I wanted to mention, because nobody's really mentioned this, with the fight, I understand this UFC, I understand, but like, it's been 3 years since they fought. Like, there's been enough time passed since they fought that I feel like people weren't taking that into account. They were just like, oh, Stipe did this in the first fight, and people were expecting similar results. And it's like, Ngannou has improved over the past 3 years. I knew that he had a shot to knock him out. I figured if he did win, it was going to be, by finishing him, But, I mean, I'm not surprised by the results. And I feel like if you look at the time gap between their first fight and now, you shouldn't be too by the results of what happened.
Well, I mean, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah.
But moving on, Ngannou is the champion, Wakanda forever, apparently. And so now the promotion for the fight like you said, was who's going to fight Jon Jones? Because Dana White has been saying this entire time. Oh well, not this entire time, but he's been saying as of the last year that no matter who, like whoever wins this fight, Jon Jones has to fight them on his first heavyweight as his first heavyweight bout. So Dana White, in true dirtbag piece of shit fashion, when interviewed about the upcoming fight of Jon Jones versus Ngannou, uh, Dana White, who has called Jon Jones the GOAT in interview when questioned directly, who is the GOAT of the UFC? And he said it has to be Jon Jones. Like he said this in 2020, or maybe it was early 2021. But he said it has to be Jon Jones. You look at who he fought, blah 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 blah. He went on, his little soliloquy about it and everything. But he says it has to be Jon Jones. But in true dirtbag fashion, when asked about Ngannou versus John, he says, "If I'm Jon Jones, I would try to look into moving down to 185." and, and he's still trying to make this Izzy. He's still trying to make this Izzy fucking John fight happen, even though he knows for a fact Izzy has no business in the ring with John, especially after he just lost to a lesser being at light heavyweight.
Do you honestly think that's the reason?
No,
That's the reason why he made that reference.
no, no, I mean, no. It's one of the reasons, but it's not
Okay, got
because
you.
the true dirtbag fashion of it is the fact that John John said, "Yo, show me the money. Let's get this done." And Dana, because he know John is trying to get paid, he's gonna do stuff and say stuff to undermine John as much as possible, and to play on his, like you said, Tyrone, earlier in regards
Right.
to other fighters, to play on his pride to try to make him take this fight for less than he's worth. But John, knowing his worth, like they always say, know your worth, King. John,
Yeah.
knowing his worth, said, "Nah, bro, show me the fucking money. You said it out your mouth. I'm the GOAT. This is one of the biggest fights you'll ever have ever, and this is probably going to be the biggest pay fight. It's not going to be. I doubt that it's going to be the biggest fight that, like, for name, but as far as pay per view, this will be the biggest pay per view fight ever."
See,
And
I always think shit is more sinister than it is. So the way that I look at it is not only do I think he's making mention of it to try to get him to steer towards the still towards the Izzy fight, but look at this, man. If he's saying, look, you fighting Ngannou, look, this what you get is what you're gonna get. But Mark, you know that Dana will offer him more money to fight Izzy, right?
he won't.
I don't think it's
No,
a
he
secret.
won't.
You don't think so?
No, he won't.
I
Dana,
think he would.
listen. The here the UFC has increased money over the years. We're not talking about the years where their pay per views were far below what boxing was making. Like, no,
Yeah.
their pay per views are right up there, if not better. And then and then not only that, but Reebok has an exclusive fucking contract for with the UFC, like, to where everything, every fighter is branded. We've talked about that here
Yeah.
before. Like,
Yeah.
so, and there's a lot of money going around in the UFC, and these fighters aren't getting shit.
Mark,
Like,
but look, I understand and I agree with everything that you're saying. In real quick, just to touch on that, Dana ain't trying to pay nobody. Let's just get that clear and get that out of the way. Nobody is going to get paid
unless you're DC. then he'll just give you $1 million just
But
because.
see, Mark, but you understand now. Now you will understand where I'm going with this. Him offering him, if he offers Jon Jones more money to fight Izzy than he does, it offers him for the Ngannou fight. This ain't about Jon Jones. That's about him trying to prop Izzy up after his loss. I'm telling you that they still want Izzy to be the face. And right now, he would rather have Jon Jones fight Izzy right now than to have Jon Jones fight Ngannou, possibly lose. But like, it's not a good thing if he fights Ngannou in general. If he fights Ngannou, he loses, then it takes some steam off of it. You got both fighters coming off of a loss. It'll still be a good fight if he goes and he fights Izzy. Or what happens? He beats Ngannou and he says, look, there's absolutely no reason why I should have to fight Izzy. Even though it's not a good situation.
I'm going to tell you right now, the moment that Izzy fucking lost, Jon lost all interest. That was over. That was done.
I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if Jon lost interest. Dana's still trying to make this shit happen. That man, Khabib said he's done. He made a promise to his mom and his dad and all this other shit. And that motherfucker was still trying to get Khabib to fight. You think Dana cares that Jon Jones is over it?
I agree with Sean. I don't think he's going to pay Jon anything, but I do know that Jon is an anomaly right now in the UFC. He's the only fighter that's undefeated. It's been in the organization for almost 11 years. He's undefeated. And so you got to look at it like, how can I make more money? If I do Jon Jones versus Izzy, that can be like mad pay-per-view numbers. It can be, right? If I go, and then after he fights Izzy and I make mad money off of that, I can have him go fight Ngannou because we already know Jon's going to beat Izzy. He knows that. But he knows the fans still have hope for Izzy. So that shit's going to be mad. They're going to use their marketing team, amp it up. This is going to be mad money for Dana. Not necessarily these fighters, but for Dana.
Exactly.
After Jon Jones demolishes Izzy, then he'll say, oh, okay, then we're doing Ngannou. So now you're getting 2 mad paydays from this guy. Opposed to just going up, having Jon Jones do exactly what he did at light heavyweight, go up, kill Ngannou. Let's say he just destroys Ngannou. Now he's holding on to this belt. Like Ngannou is like the scariest guy in the heavyweight division. Who else could there be? And now you can't make any. And now if he beats Ngannou, you know he's going to destroy Izzy, and you can't make any more money off this guy. You can't. He's just. I mean, yeah, he's undefeated. He's an anomaly. He's the greatest of all time. But ain't nobody going to watch Jon Jones. It's going to be like the Mike Tyson thing. Ain't nobody going to watch Jon Jones just put somebody up for the rest of their life and pay $60.
But no, but here's the but unlike it. But here's where you're incorrect. Because it won't be like the Mike Tyson effect. It'll be like the Floyd Mayweather effect.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Where people will want to see him lose. He will always make money off of, and I think that's what's going to be most of the sales for the Ngannou fight is the fact that the possibility is there that Jon Jones will lose. And a lot of people will tune in for that. You're right.
That's the appeal of the fight right now. Like that is the appeal. Is people think that Jon Jones might lose to him. They think,
and they're already switching the narrative to say that he's afraid.
Which is
to sell that.
Well, thank you for bringing it up because I want to talk about this. Like Dana White feeding into that narrative is nonsense. Dana White knows it's nonsense. And to all of you that like, and I'm a part of a few groups, and a lot of people don't believe that, but there are the idiots that do believe that. And to the idiots that are out there that believe that Jon is afraid of this fight, just follow Jon on Instagram. Follow him on Twitter. Like, you will see that for over a year, he's been barking about money. He's been moving up weight. He's been moving up weight purposefully for over a year. He vacated the light heavyweight belt for a reason, so that he doesn't have to take any fights at light heavy and he could focus on just moving up weight. Like, this is a real thing for Jon. Jon is trying to gain this weight. And so that way he can properly fight at light heavyweight the way he's supposed to, unlike other fighters who just haphazardly move up weight and they get their asses beat, a la Conor McGregor, or somebody like Izzy who doesn't move up weight at all and gets his ass at the higher level.
Yeah, but but this is to add to that, Mark. I want it to be very clear because people are trying to say that him talking money is the reason why they feel like maybe he is scared. And I've seen tweets going back to to last year, like a year ago, where he's talking about money and how he doesn't want
Well,
to be shortchanged on his next fight.
well, this
So,
is. I
but
mean, that's a topic of conversation throughout the UFC and period about the fighters not getting their
yes,
just due versus how much the UFC is making.
yes. But I specifically want to note that if people think, because the people that do think he's trying to run, people are citing, hey, he wasn't talking money with Izzy. He wasn't talking money with it. All of a sudden now, as soon as the Ngannou fight, as soon as he wins, now you got Jon Jones saying he's make the money right. I want that payday. I want that. You know what I'm saying? And they're immediately saying, aha. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be saying that like if it wasn't because you were scared or we haven't heard you say that. And there's tweets going back into last year, like I said, like 8 months ago, with
Mm-hmm.
him mentioning money. Like he's mentioned money before in the past. Like I said, up until like 8 months ago, he has mentioned the fact that he does not want to fight. Not in those words, but basically he's saying, look, man, they need to pay me what I'm worth. And basically he said that before. So this isn't him saying and bringing up money or like out of the blue. He's done this in the past. So I think that's the part that I think people don't know. And like you said, follow him. Follow him on Twitter. Now, if you mush together a bunch of his tweets, right? You mush together a bunch of his tweets with him saying this and saying that, like yes, it's going to make it look that way. And like you said, Tyrone, you got Dana White playing it up because you got people playing it up, playing into it. I'm sure whatever people they got working for their media, is making sure they highlight this to make it seem like he's ducking. You know, either way you put it, I don't think Jon Jones is ducking. Like me and you, we all talked about this when he said he was going to heavyweight, right? And we all said, who would we want him to fight? Who would we want to see him fight? And basically, we all agreed that because I think I mentioned I wanted to see him fight Ngannou before fighting Stipe, and what ended up happening was Ngannou and Stipe ended up fighting. But we all agreed there's only two people we want to see him fight. So Jon Jones knew that Ngannou was going to be one of these people he was going to fight in his first two fights. Why would he all of a sudden now be scared? It doesn't make sense.
Well, to shed some light on the situation, a lot of people don't pay attention to the money. And so when fighters talk about money, especially when you got Dana switching the narrative saying like, oh, what does show me the money mean? That's what people say when they don't want to make it happen. I'm just going to shed some light on this. So Conor McGregor, 13 fights in the UFC. I believe he has 4 losses in the UFC. 13 fights in the UFC. This man is worth 120 million. Mm-hmm. 120 million. And he earned about 115 million from his UFC fights.
I was going to say that's, and for people that don't know, that's unheard of for a UFC fighter.
For a UFC fighter.
Nobody
115 million. Short time frame. I think he came into the UFC around 2015, 2016. He came in, took a long time off, shows up to events in a huge, like 500-foot yacht, and they just catered to this guy, and he's losing. He's on a losing streak right now. He just lost, got knocked out. But when he fights on July 10th, they made that fight already. He was cool. Well, I don't even know if he's cool with the money. He probably don't even care if he got 115 million. But they made that fight, and they're going to pay that guy. They made that fight. Jon Jones, 21 fights, never lost, has a no contest, has a disqualification loss. He's been with the company probably since 2009. This man defeated. He is the GOAT. DC that Dana White said that he is. His estimated worth as of today, $3 million, and he's made $7.3 million over the course of his stint with the UFC.
Exactly. Now, and here's the thing, and it is chump change. Now, here's the thing. I
That's
would
less than $1 million. That's less than $1 million a year, homie. That's crazy.
yeah,
He makes less than $1 million a year.
I would invite everyone to look into um when did Connor start getting paid? Like, because I guarantee you that the biggest purse that he got is from because that was a UFC slash boxing joint adventure, which was the Floyd Mayweather
Yeah.
Conor McGregor fight.
And that's why you see all these guys want to switch over to boxing because they
Yeah,
feel that where they'll get compensated, the right way.
right. So that was a joint venture between the UFC and boxing, and that was by far his biggest payday. And I'm pretty sure that you will see post that fight is when Conor started really getting paid to to fight these UFC fights. Like, because prior to that, I'm I'm just guessing, but I'm pretty sure that he was getting paid the same amount of change that everybody else was getting paid at the time until now. But apart, but that it is what it is.
And I want to throw this in here. I don't mean to cut you off. Everyone's gonna say, well, Jon Jones is getting paid he's getting paid because of his antics outside of the ring, of the octagon. I want to also say that Conor McGregor has had some antics outside of the octagon.
He had many.
Yeah, he had many outside of the octagon. So behavior outside the octagon does not dictate how much the UFC is willing to pay its fighter. So you can't say that his behavior is the reason why he's a $3 million fighter over 10 years and then say Conor McGregor deserves what he got because he's an upstanding role model and a good citizen. You can't say that.
Right. And so
Okay,
you can't say that.
so I'm going to talk money. I'm going to talk money with you. And Mark, you'd be surprised at the money he was making before all of this. Ready? His first 3 fights, he got 76,000, 24,000, 82,000. By his 4th fight, which is the Poirier fight, 200,000 is what he got. Okay, he got 220,000 for the next fight. He got 580,000 for the Mendez fight, and I want to make it clear. It says 500,000 to show, just to show up. Okay. Now, and he basically got paid 50,000 for the actual fight. He got paid 500,000 to show up. Okay. He got paid $1 million for the Nate Diaz fight.
Wow.
Okay. He got paid $3 million for the rematch.
Wow.
He got paid $3 million for the Alvarez fight, another $3 million for the next fight. The Cowboy fight, he got $3 million, and then for the last Poirier fight, he got $5 million. So he actually, because you guys know what these purses look like, for him to get 200,000 in his 4th fight,
it's crazy.
But he was knocking people. That's when he started to get hot, and people, that's when he started talking shit to everybody.
I think Amanda Nunes in this last fight still didn't make as much as the main card. I still think she only made 800,000, and she's been on a winning double champions. She's not making Conor money.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear for the people that are listening that aren't familiar with the paydays. A champion. Sometimes it's even rare to see a champion get over 100K. You're talking about Conor getting $3 million a fight. That's his price now.
And he's not champion, right? He's not a champion right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make. Even champs don't get 100K.
Yeah,
but
part of that is being the draw. And
yes, and I will give you that, which brings us back full circle.
Yeah, Jon is always the draw.
He's a draw. Like look, man, he might not be the draw that Conor is, but name if you want to say that somebody's a bigger draw than him, show me their purse to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody else is making Conor money. Nobody's even sniffing it. Nobody's even getting Conor's couch change. You know what I'm saying? So, if you will, I mean, and you talk about draws. Right now, one of the biggest draws in the UFC, I would have to say, is Amanda Nunes, and she's not getting that money.
No.
So I have a problem. I personally have a problem with the way that they're divvying this stuff up.
Well,
As much as they love Izzy don't get that paid. He don't get that.
yeah, but it is what it is. But moving on into this upcoming fight with Jon and Ngannou, I personally think Jon is going to win this fight. But the one issue that I seem to have with the idea of this upcoming fight is, or at least it troubles me a little bit as a Jon Jones fighter fan. Um, Jon is having. It seems like Jon is having trouble maintaining and gaining weight. Because he right now he's not he doesn't do a whole lot of ring work right now. And in one of his Instagram posts, he said, "Yeah, like I was nice to be in the ring, but I can't stay in here because." He was saying that like just being in the ring, like for the weekend, he lost like 15 pounds, and like he went from like 260 to 245,
Yep.
and so that's a little troubling. That's a little troubling. Simply for the fact that for me that he's not doing a lot of ring work, like
Yeah.
that's troubling for me. That
The process is different, and
Yeah.
anytime you fuck with the process,
well, it's
that's the problem.
no, it's the fact that like he's the greatest fighter or whatever, but you still want him to be able to get his work in. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like to be fresh, work on his strategy and all that stuff, and constantly be able to work on. And the fact that he's not able to do ring work because he's having trouble maintaining weight
Yeah.
is troubling, and it makes me worry about when it comes down to weight day, like you cut for the fight, and then you see like is he's not going to jump up the way Ngannou's going to jump up, like and Ngannou's going to cut and he's going to weigh whatever he needs to weigh to qualify for the fight, but then he's going to jump up like 15-20 pounds. Jon's not going to do that.
I don't think Jon have to cut though. I think the cutoff is 265, and I think he'll just go in.
Jon's not going to have to cut. He's not going to have to cut.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I understand what you're saying. It's going to be a clear weight advantage, when it comes to that, and it's going to be a size advantage, a natural. But I want to be clear, natural size advantage. You know, Ngannou's going to be at a natural size and weight, and Jon Jones essentially is going to be he's going to be at an inflated weight. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just like in boxing when you have these catch weights, but it's worse because you guys aren't gonna you're not even gonna be anywhere close to the same weight here in this situation. But Mark, to your point, he's not gonna be able to practice. He's not gonna be able to prepare for this fight
the same way.
He's not gonna be able to prepare fully for this fight. You know what I'm saying? But the point I was trying to make about the preparation and changing your process is even if he was to get the same amount of practice in, if you practice differently than what you're used to, it throws everything off, man. Like that's fighters, competitors, like basketball players, football players, everybody has a routine that they go through. And it might be a mental thing. I know you always bring up the Prince Nassim shit. Like it's a mental thing just as much as it is a physical thing. But obviously in this situation, I'm more concerned with the physical than the mental. Like like you said, Mark, like I can practice, but then I'm gonna lose 15 pounds. I don't want to lose 15 pounds, but now he's forced to decide. Do I fully prepare myself so I don't have to walk into this fight unprepared, and then you just deal with being light, or do you want to have as much weight on you as possible and you sacrifice preparation? Like I don't like Mark. I'm with you. Like if he's losing that much weight just from getting into the ring and sparring, there's no possible way that he can do both. So
At least not within the next 3 months.
No, there's definitely not enough time. So it is throwing a little wrench in the game plan here, and I for one, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I for one think it might be a problem. I think that gives Ngannou a better chance of winning this fight. Me personally, I stopped betting against Jon Jones about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Like it's something that I just don't do. So I'm not gonna do it here, but I will say we might see a different fight or a different Jon Jones than we used to see.
I honestly don't think that Jon Jones needs to put on all that weight. He has the better skill set. He has more tools in his toolbox. And I don't think he needs to be at 265 to deal with Ngannou. He's 6'4", Ngannou's 6'4". He has a longer reach. Yeah, he's going to be underweight. But, I mean, with that long reach and your skill set that you have, you got wrestling, you got you throw more kicks. Ngannou really has no technique. He just comes at you in a flurry, and if one connects, it's done. We all know Jon ain't afraid to turn his back and run either. So, I don't think that he needs to be that heavy. I think he could probably go in, like his natural walk around weight is probably 225, 230. I think he could go in at 230 and still get the job done. I know he wants to be safe and be prepared, but I just think he needs to do some strength training to get his strength up.
Well, that's what he's doing.
That should be it.
And this is like if you're strong and you happen to be a little light, then so be it.
But that's my point to you, Tyrone, is the fact that like you may be correct, but Jon doesn't feel that way. And the way that Jon is prepared is by gaining weight. Like he's preparing by bulking, and he's bulking and strength training. So
we see the results.
So that's like I'm basically saying I see a problem in his game plan.
I see it too, because the more muscle you put on, it's going to gas you out. He's going to have to do some type of conditioning, which is going to burn calories, and he's going to drop all that weight again. So,
my bad. Okay, this is what I was going to say is like one of the advantages that he should have over Ngannou is somebody that I question his stamina. That should be one of your advantages, is being able to last longer than he is. That should be one of your game plans, is to tire him out, keep him at bay. If you're keeping, because he has the skill sets, like you said, he has the toolbox to keep him at bay. And to me, the strongest tool that he has in his box is his unorthodox style that I don't think a guy like Ngannou is prepared for. Like Ngannou's never had to deal with somebody with that type of toolbox to where it's like, yo, the knockout hit could come from anywhere. It could come from a knee, it could come from a kick, it could come from a punch, it could come from there's a multitude of ways that this knockout hit can come from. He's not used to that. And Jon Jones has enough accuracy and power with punches and his strikes to where Ngannou shouldn't be able to get to him. And that would be my game plan if I was Jon Jones, is make sure he doesn't get to me long enough for him to tire out. I think you can get Ngannou tired by the third round. If I'm Jon Jones, that's my game plan. If that's my game plan, then I don't need to bulk up for that.
Right.
But can that be your game plan when you're not the champion? Ngannou's the champion. Running.
I don't think.
I'm not saying running. I'm saying if I'm accurately striking and not letting you hit me, then number one, I'm out striking. Number two, if I now have you trying to chase me around, but I'm landing strikes on you, then who's really in control of that fight? You know what I'm saying? So like he can still win these rounds while keeping him at bay. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's that's what I'm saying. If he's as accurate as I believe him to be, then he can do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's one thing if he was fighting a guy that is more complete like Stipe, but because he's fighting Ngannou, this is why I think this is a good get. This is why I think it would be a decent game plan. With somebody like Stipe, I think he could get away with adding on the extra weight. I wouldn't recommend on that either.
I can
but I'm
tell
just
you
saying,
his game plan is the reason he's bulky and the reason he wants the strength is he's going to take Ngannou down and he's going to control him.
yeah, he wants to wrestle. That's what
he's going to dominate. That's the way he's going to do it. He's not going to do what he did with Reyes and have any questions answered. He's going to take Ngannou down and he's going to do what he did to Alexander Gustafsson, which is completely dominate the monster. And that way you have no question to who is better.
But Mark, you've already said you don't agree with his game plan, right?
No, I'm saying I see trouble in his game plan, or in the way that he's approaching it because of his body type and the things that are going on.
Yes, I see trouble with his game plan too. And to be honest with you, I understand why you would want to wrestle a guy like that. I mean, usually in any typical situation, you got a striker. You want to take the game to the ground. My concern is what is necessary to take somebody down to the ground is the time where he's going to be most vulnerable to what Ngannou does best, and that's my concern for that. But I mean,
getting caught on the way in.
I feel like on the weight. But let me put it real quick. If he is able to put on the weight and he is able to use that to his advantage to be able to wrestle Ngannou, then I don't think Ngannou has a shot. You know what I mean? So I get it, but I feel like it's a high risk situation.
Yeah.
You try to get down. Real quick, sorry, my bad. It's the last thing. You try to get a couple takedowns. He defends them decently. You're overweight. You're tiring yourself out. Now what? So go ahead, Tyrone.
I'm saying like if he gets the underhooks in and he gets Ngannou against the fence, it's a wrap. Like Mark was saying, if you follow Jon around on Instagram or anything, this dude's squatting like over 600 pounds. He's lifting close to 700 pounds. He's doing like a Zutra squat, which means you're holding a bar in front of you and it's 450 pounds. He's moving this shit like with ease. Like he's moving this weight with ease. So that's what he's doing. He's gonna do it. He's getting his weight, getting his strength. So when he grabs a hold of Ngannou, he's just going to take him down with ease and control him. I think that's his game plan.
I think that's easier said than done. But
yeah, it is easy. It's easier said than done. You're right. It is.
Just sound nice, but
no.
I wouldn't want to be the dude to have to go in and all on that. I mean, I'm looking at some of these pictures from Stipe fight. He just got mountains on his back, bro. It's this dude.
His traps is crazy.
So you understand why I don't like this, right?
But not like at the end of the day, like I'm just saying that this is like I could see the avenue that would lead to Jon losing. I would not say Jon is going to lose because I don't ever bet against Jon. But I can see the avenue in which it would happen. So that's
like I said, whatever he does, whatever weight that he can get to safely, I hope he stays there. If it just so happens to be 245, then so be it, man. Will that be enough for him to have the strength to tussle with him, to wrestle with him? Maybe not, maybe so. I don't know, but I would rather him be at the weight that he's comfortable with and try to fight and figure something out from there. Because the one thing that I feel like he can fall back on if anything else fails This is IQ. It's fighting
Yeah.
IQ.
I mean, from experience training, bro, like it is a possibility to be lighter than somebody, shorter than somebody, and be just super strong. Like here I am. I'm at 235. You know, I go in and train my jiu-jitsu and I go against a smaller guy and I walk in there. I'm like, oh, you know, I'm gonna take it easy with this little guy. You know, we're just training. I ain't gonna. Next thing you know, this little dude grabs me up and whoop. Like I have no strength against him. Nothing. Like I don't get it. Like so. That is a possibility of what Jon Jones is trying to do. Like he's going to go in the lighter guy. He's going to go in the lighter guy, but his strength might just be ridiculous from all the strength training.
It doesn't matter how big. I just don't think that's the situation with Ngannou. I think maybe that could be the situation with Steve Bay or somebody else, but I just don't think that could be, because honestly, I believe that he could very well, with the way he's training now. If he were to fight Stipe, I think he would come in stronger than Stipe. I just don't think it's that case with Ngannou.
No.
I don't know if anybody can do it.
Right? But move it, but can't stay here forever. So move right along. Let's just talk about it, man. Elephant in the room. Deshaun Watson is the hot topic in sports, like in the sports world. But should he be? Should he be the only hot topic in the sports world? Because right now there's other things going on, and there's a lot of hoe behavior going on outside of Deshaun Watson. We talking about Chad Wheeler, who basically attempted to murder his girlfriend. Is no one's talking about that. No one seems to be having any conversations about Chad Wheeler at all, and that came and went very quickly. Um, and then you're talking about Brett Reed, who who uh, injured a little girl, and she's still in critical condition, and he still doesn't have any criminal charges against him. And it's been 55 days, and he still has zero criminal charges against him for for what is essentially a DUI, because he admitted to drinking, and and now this little girl is in the hospital, and somehow I don't even know if they got the toxicology back yet, but if they don't have the toxicology back after 55 days, why the hell don't you have the toxicology back? And and then you have, dirt bag of dirt bags, as far as as far as owners go, Daniel Snyder in the NFL. He is also currently under investigation for behavior with employees and cheerleaders and stuff like that, a sexual misconduct, and executives under his employ. And there's apparently there's an invest I guess there's talk of that the investigation is suggesting that he sells his portion of the team, but you don't hear that very much in the media at all either. These are all things that you kind of have to search for and read about. Yet we're talking about Deshaun Watson regularly, and it's every other day. Now, what's the difference between Deshaun Watson and these three other people that I named? I don't know. It could be. I don't know, but I'll leave that up to you to decide. But I'm going to talk to my guys about it right now. Listen. So what is it, man? Like, why is it that there's all this other things going on out here, and mum's the word. Mum's the word on it, but Deshaun Watson every single day. Let's blast this.
Look, man, like, whew, I don't want to go down any obvious roads here to start out, but I'll just say this, Mark. I'm the the whole the Brett, is it Brett or Brent? Brett Reed.
Brett, I don't care. He's
Dog.
garbage.
Andy Reid's son, man. He's on the coaching staff for the kids. That that happened the week leading up to the Super Bowl.
Didn't happen the week leading. It happened like 2-3 days before, some shit like that.
The week, it's the same week. It's the same week of the Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying. It's the week leading up to the Super Bowl. The point is, I can understand, Mark, if the NFL has an interest in not speaking about it or trying to shy away from it. But I don't understand, Mark, is why one, sports media it would shy away from it. I don't understand why the local media would shy away from it. Like those are the part. I don't understand why the police department would shy away from it. This is my problem with that situation is either it's just one big coincidence or there's a large conspiracy to protect this person because of his status within the NFL and within the
And who his daddy is?
Yeah, basically. Like I'm really like it's disgusting, man. Like obviously, Mark, I don't believe in that many coincidences, Mark. There's nothing. It's obviously there's a vested in like I said, I understand the NFL's interest. I don't understand all these other organizations' interest. So that shit is disgrace, Mark. He should have been arrested. Like he admitted, and when you say he admitted that he was drinking, for those that aren't familiar with the situation, he admitted to the police that he was drinking. He admitted it on the scene of the crime, you know. So it wasn't like he admitted days later or he said something to the media. Like, no, he admitted to the police. He was full. Yo, yep, got me. I was drinking. Yep. You know.
He said he had two. He said he had 2 or 3.
Don't matter.
And mind you, I point out he said 2 or 3 because anybody that is familiar with a breathalyzer is that if you were to have 2 or 3 drinks, it don't matter if it was beer, wine, liquor, champagne, 2 or 3, you're automatically going to blow over the limit. If you had it within an hour or 2 hour time frame within driving. So he was just admitting that he admitted that he's over the limit, but they have to get official numbers.
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna get to my point soon here. So the next story, talking about Chad Wheeler, the last article, Mark, that I could pull up about the Chad Wheeler situation was February 10th. That's the most recent article that I could pull up. Okay. So there's nothing out there. There's absolutely nothing out there. Nobody's talking about it. It went once Seattle cut them. Once Seattle cut him, it was like radio silence. You know, the only time they stopped to report something after that was when, you know, they said he was suffering from bipolar, you know, disorder. That was it. That was the last bit of information we got, and then everybody stopped reporting on it, Mark. So I guess my point is, Mark, you say why? My answer to that is the NFL and the NFL owners, because I'm not going to put this on the commissioner. We all know that the commissioner is the NFL owner's lapdog. So all the owners, he's just a lapdog. The NFL, when I say the NFL, I mean all the owners. They clearly have a lot of pull, way more pull in our society and more than likely in our government and in our policing departments than we know. And that's what it comes down to. Clearly, the owners and the NFL as an organization have that much pull. So there's to me, it speaks to a corruption on a level of government and policing. That's, you know, it being in cahoots with the NFL.
Right. And Tyrone?
I agree. I agree with what you guys were kind of getting to, who he is, and who was his dad. Like, it has to be. I've seen a lot of things happen in football and sports related things that if a normal person would do, like they would get years for it. And these guys, they get slap on the wrist. So I read the article, and you got this baby in the hospital, and this guy's just sitting around. Nothing's happening. No charges filed. He admitted to doing a crime. I mean, then they're like, we got to get official numbers. Like if that was me, if I was like, yeah, I had two or three drinks, I wouldn't be here today. I'd still be in jail, like waiting for the judge to give me a bond or whatever was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So with that, I would have to say he comes from money. He's part of a sports team. During the time it happened right before the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I guess if they were to win, I guess you don't want to shed any bad light on that. It's just a huge cover up. Like those people know people, and they can reach out to those people, and they can get them to pull strings and make things disappear and make things seem not to be what they are. And I think that's what it is, honestly.
And real quick, I want to, when you say who his parents is, prominent figure, I think it's fair to note that Andy Reid is probably one of the most lovable, if not the most lovable character in the NFL. Person in the NFL, when you talk about just personality and somebody that nobody has a problem,
Yeah. And you don't get up that high and not rub elbows with with people in positions of power in the city. You give out tickets, you invite them to a skybox, you let them come down on the field, meet the players, and then when you need a favor called in, you call that favor in.
Yeah. They're treating this grown ass man as if he's a troubled teenager.
Well, I only wanted to, we know what it is, and a lot of people can read into what it is. I only wanted to bring it up to say to the people out there that we still know who these people are, and we're going to keep bringing it up until they figure something out, and also to not take Deshaun Watson off the hook. Deshaun Watson has what seems to be, in my opinion, one of the first credible allegations against him, and this person isn't even filing a lawsuit. This person went to SI with this report. That's Sports Illustrated with this report. She is indeed actually a licensed massage therapist, and this happened 2019, which is predates all of the current allegations.
Yes,
and so that's a big thing as well. She has all their records and stuff, and as now Sports Illustrated isn't the police department or anything like that, but through their investigation, they found a lot of credible information, like through talking to her family, who she talked to about it right after it happened. So a lot of corroborating stories, if you will. And also and also they also have records and text messages and things of that nature from the situation. So this seems to be like the first real allegation that stands out to be of any merit, and with 19 allegations against you, starts to look a little bleak, man. Like it just starts to look a little bleak at 19. I don't know how you guys feel about once you read the Sports Illustrated piece. How did you feel about it, Sean?
Man. So when I read it, I feel like we got a lot more insight to it. To me personally, this does seem like it's a very believable situation. At least believable story. It's more believable than some of the other stuff that I've read so far. I don't see any reason why there would be any reason for this person to be lying about it, seeing as though obviously the people that have come out now, in this case that we're talking about now, we feel, or at least I'll speak for myself, then I feel like it's being coerced by the attorney that's friends with the team owner of this particular victim, I should say, is saying that, like you said, this article is from 2019 before any of this lawsuit stuff came up, and she's also stating that she was approached for this group of accusations, but she declined. So if she really was just trying to smear his name, she would have jumped on this train here. But to me, that's why I believe what she's saying. So what this says to me is that there's probably some type of truth to some of these allegations from these 19 that you're speaking of. Now, how many of them are exactly the way they were, I don't know. I'll be honest, I'm just going to say how I feel. I don't trust any of the accusations coming from people that gave him massages that weren't massage therapists. I'm just going to throw all those out. Okay? Now, for the people that were massage therapists with this group, we have now an actual massage therapist coming out and speaking out and talking about her experience from 2019. So there probably is truth to that. So I think that the lawyer maybe saw there was truth to some of it, brought in a bunch more girls to try to make it seem like it's a bigger deal than what it is. But
I mean, it's all a big deal if even one person is true.
Exactly. So I don't see why the grandstanding is happening right now with all the other females that aren't even massage therapists talking about they showed up to give them a professional massage and shit end up being unprofessional, even though you're not a professional. I don't know why that's added to it, but like I said, Mark, I'm believing that what this person from 2019 is saying is true.
Right.
So, yeah. With that said, I think your boy Deshaun Watson might have a little bit of a problem. You know what I mean? And I don't know how this case is going to turn out and what the results are going to be. But even if he gets off scot-free, if you will, if he gets found not guilty of all this stuff, and the civil suit doesn't end in him paying these people, I think the damage is starting to be, the information is starting to be a bit damaged.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Yeah, and Tyrone?
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of Sean pretty much. This allegation predates all the other ones, so I mean, I feel like it takes more preference over the other ones. Reading the article, man, I'm gonna try to be I don't want people to think that I'm insensitive to the subject of this, because I'm not insensitive to it. But reading some of the allegations, like Sean said, some of these guys weren't even massage therapists. And reading some of the things that took place during the encounter makes me lead to believe that it was maybe an arrangement or something else. And I'm not trying to sit here and the fact that it all comes out later. It comes out after the first person. I hate when things happen to people and then they come out 2-3 years later. I hate that. And I understand, certain situations, certain people don't think they'll be believed. And then when they see they're not alone, it's easier to group together and come out as a group, and you feel like you're not alone. But some of these things seem not to be. Some of the allegations I don't believe. Let's just put it that way. I believe this. I believe this one. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I believe this one because there is evidence. There is, she has things documented and it's predating everything else. But I don't believe all of them. Let's put it that way. The guy definitely has a problem. If any of these things happen to be true, it's definitely not cool. And but I don't believe all. I believe this one. I don't believe all of them. So that's as far as I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
And that's generally where I land as well. And that's a problem because like the other ones, like for those of us that live an actual life and like that isn't like completely on the straight and narrow or know people that aren't completely on the straight and narrow, we we know the type the type of situation that gets advertised as a massage but isn't really a massage.
I like the air quotes.
Yeah.
Massage.
Yeah, so like we know what that means. If you go on Craigslist right now, you will find advertisements for massage, but you'll see a woman in lingerie. And you'll be wondering why is those women advertising a massage while
Yeah.
she's taking pictures in lingerie. And it isn't like she's doing it out of like this is out of her own free will. This is how she makes money. Now, so there's a lot of situations like that out in the world. If you go on Tinder, if you go on Black People Meet and all that shit, you'll find a profile in there somewhere that's like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that advertises massage or advertises some sort of some sort of service, maybe maid cleaning or whatever. And it's not exactly that. Like so just
Yeah.
to point that out there.
That's the thing.
So
Yeah. The thing. Yeah.
so when you read, so the reason why we feel as though like this is all just our speculation, but the reason why we feel as though uh some of this isn't believable because when you meet a person off of IG and they don't do massage as a profession or anything like that, but he quote unquote hired you for a massage. What like that's where you know you gotta kind of put your street smarts together and be like, okay, I see what happened here.
Like, look, man, he ain't paying you $2,500 for a professional massage when you ain't never given a massage in your
Yeah,
life.
Right. Wouldn't it be weird if you like hired a car mechanic, but he doesn't really work on cars on Craigslist? Like, hey, man, I work on cars. You hire him, he's like, I ain't got no tools. Like that's
no,
kind of
what would
weird.
be no, this is essentially what be weird if you go on Craigslist or you go on IG and you're like, yo, I'm looking for a car mechanic. I need a professional car mechanic to fix my car. And the guy's like, well, you know what I'm saying? I fix AC and heating, cooling. And you like, yeah, cool, you're hired. Like, no, you wouldn't hire the guy that does AC, cooling, and heating.
Oh, and then after that, he claims that you assaulted him in some way. Like,
Like,
you're like, how, what?
Like, I showed up to fix cars. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
like
Like,
exactly, like Doug, you can't go screaming perfect. Like, well, you can, but it comes off a way when you
Right.
it comes off a way when you're screaming, I only showed up to do a professional massage, and yet you're not a professional massage therapist. It's it's weird.
Yeah.
So
So I guess to put it in so many words, we believe the massage therapist that's complaining.
yeah,
The one who's the official massage therapist.
right, exactly.
yes,
Like I believe that, but and like reading her story, it plays out in a more plausible fashion. Now, but that's not to say that these other people's story isn't true. It's just a little bit harder to digest.
yeah. We don't believe the nail tech that came out to give a massage. We don't believe her. No.
Well, I'm gonna say based off of what the information I have right now, I don't believe. I
Yes, based on the information, because Mark, I've already changed my mind so far just off of this
right.
newfound information. So like,
But yeah,
you know what I'm
based
saying?
off the information I have right now, I find it hard to believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
And why would you advertise yourself as something you're not? That's the weird thing. That's the weird thing.
But see,
I'm not
that's
going to
the thing.
advertise myself as a
This
doctor.
is the thing. That's
tell
the
them.
thing. According to these women, they aren't advertising themselves as massage therapists. He's hitting them up, and
Yes.
they're like, "You want me to do a massage? Okay."
How's he getting the number? Like,
No, but see, this is the whole thing. He hits them up in the DMs, and he's like, "Yo, do a massage for me," and they like nobody like if I'm a legit nail tech, you hit me up about a massage, I'm not going to be like, "Sure, I'll do a massage." Like, no, I'm like, what? I don't do that. Why the fuck are you asking me to do a massage?
You say that, Mark, but just hear me out. I'm gonna do what you love the most, Mark. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. You a nail tech minding your business. This dude asks you to do the massage, but he doesn't just ask you for a massage. He says, "Look, I'll fly you out. I'll put you up in a hotel, and I'll pay you $2,500 to do a massage." You like, goddamn, I could be a plumber, and look, I'm about to do this massage. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's what it is.
That doesn't sound
No,
like a
but
massage to me. It sounds like it's something hidden. Like you have masseuses in your city area. All you gotta do is get on Google and type it in. Why are you hitting me up and why are you gonna spend all this money for me to come out? There's something there, bro. There's something there. You gotta know what's something there. You gotta be prepared for that.
Right.
Not everybody's smart, but okay, I'm done playing devil's advocate. I can't do this.
Professional massage therapists aren't masseuses; they're massage therapists.
Okay, my
Yeah,
bad.
but yeah, I can't do the devil's advocate shit no more. Like the moment that this person asks for massage and they said they're gonna fly you out, the first thing that should be said that I would expect a normal person to say is like, "Oh no, you might got the wrong profile. I'm a nail tech." Like you think that out of these 19 people, that somebody would have been like, "You know what, man? But I'm not a massage therapist." Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, you want a massage? Okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah, like no, the fact that nobody quit, like all these people that weren't massage therapists, nobody questioned getting, somebody offering to fly them out for massage. Like, it's understandable. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 people didn't question, but all of them.
Well, it's not all of them. I know at least 8 of them are not massage therapists by profession.
No, I'm talking about the ones that aren't. Out of the ones that aren't massage therapists, none of them questioned.
Yeah.
None of them questioned it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I guess. But yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
Do they come with a
the ones that aren't never questioned. So no.
I don't know. I've had a lot of massages. I've needed it, doing sports and stuff. And I don't. If I really want a massage, and I'm like, yo, man, my neck is bothering me. It's messing up my performance. Like, I don't want a nobody who doesn't know what they're doing giving me a massage. I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay you $2,500 to come in here and not fix what I need fixed.
Right. Right. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this is real rap. People that like the women that are me and Tyrone in the past like used to frequent a lot of gentleman clubs in the evenings.
Wow, he brought that up, bro. He don't let it go.
We've brought it up before on this show. Because Mark started listing off places that have good food and shit. So,
And in doing that, like, being young, handsome guys, you see Tyrone now and you see me and stuff, you know what I mean? Being the younger versions of us, like the women that work there, like we did well. And and the women that work there often would offer to rub our shoulders and stuff like that. And I'm going to say this: 90% of them, I played along, but it wasn't great. Like, I don't want you doing a massage for me. You're not a massage therapist. Like I'm not just going to get some rando to do that shit. because I want it to be good.
Right. I want to get what I'm paying for.
Exactly. Unless what I'm paying for is not what I'm paying for. Then
Right.
I would want a stripper or or something like that to be giving me the massage. So
Yeah. Like now that you put it in that perspective, yeah, I remember. Yeah, you're right.
So I'm not even gonna go into that. But yeah.
so
Go
I
ahead, sip whatever you sipping on there, Tyrone.
Oh,
Make sure you vote, of course. Okay. Straight. What you got?
you can't.
What do you got? What is that? Oh, okay, Moet. I see you.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I didn't do my usual in the beginning, but you can see my glass is almost empty here. You know,
yeah,
it's Scotch, 12-year Scotch in there.
I'm just
Oh,
drinking,
nice.
just drinking water. DNA.
I can't do the steakhouses. But this the bottle
Hey,
is
I know where you're working.
the steakhouse dinner.
Don't tell me what you can't do. I know where you're working. We ain't gonna put that out there, but I know where you're working.
Hey, look,
It's not that you can't do it; it's that you don't want to do it.
maybe I can do it, but I can't do it every week. How about that? How about that? I can't do it every week.
Well,
Quiet, Tyrone. We're gonna keep that quiet.
yeah, but no, man. To wrap this evening up, I'm going to say this: Deshaun, you need to get your affairs in order, bro. Something needs to be figured out. There's a lot of grandstanding going on in this fight. I mean, excuse me, in this lawsuit.
Oh no, he's fighting for his life like R. Kelly.
Yeah, like rough.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
Yeah,
mess.
like there's a
Go ahead.
lot of grandstanding in this lawsuit. Like the fact that this lawyer is trickling out a new allegation every 2 days is a little ridiculous, dog. Like you've had all these people, and you're just like, nah, I'm gonna put this person out today, and
So,
then 2 days from now, when the buzz, when the I guess the publicity dies down, I'm gonna put out another person, and then so forth and so forth. But that's your plan. The plan is to keep this high in the media coverage by just trickling out people over and over again, which is kind of trash.
I'm,
And
no, I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
and then also you're like throwing out basically allegations that aren't true or that you don't know to be true because you're saying that he's deleting messages and all that stuff. Well, how do you know that he's deleting messages? Like because in text messages you have no idea that he's deleting messages. I guess you could say in like now something like Facebook Messenger, he's deleting messages because it will disappear for both parties.
Yeah.
If he deletes the message, it'll disappear for both sides of the
Also,
message.
the option to remove it for yourself. Like, I mean, obviously, if he was going to delete it, he would delete it for both parties, but then both parties would have to prove it. So it wouldn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah. So like, but yeah, like, so it's just very weird. One Tony Busby is saying he's deleting messages, and the other lawyer is saying no, he's not, and it's getting to be a little much. Uh, I wish that they would. I wish that it was a different lawyer than Tony Busby, who just so happens to be friends with the Houston Texans owner. But it is what it is.
No,
Um,
I wish it wasn't a different. I wish it wasn't him as a lawyer because he seems to be a fucking scumbag lawyer. He seems to fit the bill
yeah,
of being the sleaze bag lawyer. So yeah, I just wish that wasn't the case. But because I guess for me, Mark, if any of this is true for any of these ladies, he's making a mockery of the situation. If these women are actual victims, he's making a mockery of the whole situation. And if one of my family members was a victim, I would not be okay with the way that he's handling the situation.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So, but with that, last thing I gotta bring up, because this is somewhat of breaking news. Michael Rapaport, the famous actor, uh, white guy, usually like he's the cool white guy in a lot of movies and stuff. Back in
Of the paper soldiers.
yeah, back in his day,
Yeah.
uh, he um, he is a avid NBA fan, and he got into a Twitter war with Kevin Durant, and some of these messages seem to be a lot. It says, "I receive threats and disgusting messages daily, but never in my wildest dreams did I think KD Trey 5 would be among them. The snake himself is now threatening me, bringing up my wife, and wants to fight. This is supposed to be America's sweetheart, right?" And it says, all right. So I'm just going to read off these tweets, right? So Michael Rappaport said KD seemed deeply in his feelings with the NBA on TV crew after the game. Damn it, he's a super sensitive about everything. Don't do the interview. And this is back from 12/20 December. And it said KD just tweeted him, but just messaged him back, "You a bitch." And then he said,
I'm sorry, that's funny.
and then Michael Rappaport replies, "Just do the fucking interview, and if you're upset about something they said, say something up there looking like you were going to cry and shit." And he says, "I did the interview, you dickhead. Tell your baby daddy Chuck to be better at his job and frame his questions better. He gave me two options for that dumbass question, yes or no." Okay, that was one. And let's see, where's the next one? All right, so you have another one where it says, "Go help the kids in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and stop being a fucking puss." And then here comes KD. You a bitch. You a bitch for even caring how I do an interview. All you do is suck cock on all you do is cock suck other men for attention. Excuse me. Trump didn't pay attention to your sorry ass, so now you want to use everybody else to give views and laughs. Your life is a joke, you fucking pale cocksucker. Wow. And it goes on to say, "Go get some sun. It's fucking with your brain, piece of shit." Wow. Okay. And Rappaport says, "Go to Brownsville and help the people that need it." Goofball.
You go do a clown.
Yeah, like he called
You
him.
say you go do a clown.
And then he said, "You go do it, clown. Good for you, but nobody gives a fuck. Suck a dick. Can't wait to tell you all this in person." So far, Rappaport is getting killed. Like he's getting murdered in this text exchange.
He promised him he was going to spit in his face when he seen him next time. Look, man.
But it gets better. It gets better.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. There's more. Go ahead.
It gets a lot better.
Yeah, it gets a lot better.
KD goes on to say, "I heard it all before, you cunt. Chunk doesn't need you as a security, you pale, pasty, cum guzzling bitch."
Yo, go ahead.
These messages are outrageous. Like, who talks like this, bro? Like it's crazy.
Wild. Like KD's a wild boy. And it says, "I swear I'm gonna spit in your face when I see you, you dirty ass. Bet your life on it. Meet me on West 17th tomorrow at 10. Or better yet, what's your address? 10 a.m. at Catch Steak on the corner. Meet me there, pussy." And last but not least, he says, "You called your lawyer like the pussy you are. Ha 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 ha. You couldn't talk you couldn't talk Portnoy talking shit. Defamation
Oh,
of character. I'm guessing he's saying you couldn't take, but
Yeah,
but he
yeah,
said
I didn't
talk.
know what that meant.
And then it says, pussy ass want to lawyer up. Your wife mad as fuck because you wasting that little bit of money on a lawyer because you can't take a joke. How pussy are you? Your wife doesn't even respect your bitch ass.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Look, the shit in the beginning was just insults. He started cutting deep when he started talking about the lawsuit, talking about he basically a little bit of money on the lawsuit. Like he cutting deep. And then for those that don't know, he's talking about his lawsuit against the owner of Barstool
Uh huh.
Sports Radio. You know, so yeah, um, yeah, telling him like he's not lying, dog. You're wasting money. Like if you really doubt that, it's like you're wasting money in litigation trying to sue this guy. And it's not like you have a bunch of strings of revenue coming in. No disrespect to Michael Rapaport, but the last notable thing that I saw him doing, Mark, was he was in NBA 2K. He was in NBA 2K either 19 or 20 as one of the coaches for a G team. That's the last notable thing that I've seen him do. So what? Yes, Mike Rappaport is funny. He usually gets the best of people, but he picked the wrong one. He picked the wrong one this time. KD is crying with that part.
Yeah.
I
Like
don't know if he
crying.
wants to break anything down. All I know is he's getting his dumbass fried right now, and he probably wishes he never said anything to him. So that's all I got for that.
Yeah. KD responded to someone. He said, "Me and Mike talk crazier than this on the regular, and today he's pissed. My bad, Mike. Damn." And then
Now
here
I
goes,
believe that because Mike talks crazy on a regular.
yeah. And then it said, here's another one. It said, I would never fight Mike. That the Portnoy thing was too far, I see. My bad. I apologize. Oh, so that's where you draw the line?
I told you he cut deep, man. He wasn't insulting the way he looks, man. He wasn't calling him a pasty cum guzzler no more. He was he was talking about his real life problems that he's dealing with. Like, I hope I win this lawsuit because I can't afford this lawyer. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's when somebody hits you with the personals.
That's wild. But yeah, that's just rough, man. I don't like. I just wanted to put this out here because it's rough. Like me and Tyrone, story time. Me and
There we
Tyrone
go.
back in the day used to go back and forth like we hated each other, and sometimes it got a little out of hand. But I don't think I ever called him a cum guzzling bitch. I don't
it
think
would it wouldn't matter because I was good. My mouth is a problem. It wouldn't matter. I would have been
wouldn't
able to
mention
defend
that
myself.
after him calling you a cum guzzling bitch, but go for it. You know what I mean?
right. Like that was never my thing. That was never a thing of mine.
Yeah.
My thing was like I'm gonna push these buttons, and then I'm gonna watch Tyrone lose his shit.
No, you want to know what he does? He does this. Like he would do some shit and he would blow me up and I would go off because I don't have a muzzle for my mouth. I would go off. I would say some mean stuff like KD would do. And you know what this guy would do? He would go and I would get an email like a couple hours later, this guy made reservations for me and my family at a steakhouse. Like happy anniversary from your best friend Coles. And it's like, fuck. I just went off on this guy, man. I just called him every name in the book, and here this guy is. He knew my anniversary. He knew all these things, and he set up a reservation. And I look at the date of the reservation, like maybe he did this after the fact. Maybe he did this to make me feel bad, but he did it after the fact. Nope, it was 2 days prior before we had our argument. So then I got to go back with my head down, tail between my legs and apologize because he's a good friend. You know what I mean? Like Jesus Christ. He would never say anything back. I would go off and he would never say anything back. He'd just be like, "You're overreacting." That's how he would push my
Mark
buttons.
hit you with that
That's how he would push my
psychological
buttons.
warfare, dog. You let Mark hit you with it. Let me tell you something. Because you better believe. I know why you was checking to see if it was after the fact. See, the funny thing is, you were checking to see if it was after the fact because it was an apology. No, if it happened after the fact, he was doing that so that you could feel like more of a piece of shit. Like this. See, man, you can't let Mark do you like that, man. That motherfucker's a little wizard and shit.
Hey, I learned when, you know, we get a disagreement just to walk away and keep my mouth shut because he's made me look stupid several times. It's not many people that done that, but he's made me look stupid several times.
Oh,
he just
told me about y'all situations in the desert where he'll set you off and then he'll be like, look at him. You know what I'm saying? Look at this guy. He says he's my friend. Look at him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
he would set me off. He yoked my chain like a pit bull, let me go, I'll attack everybody, and he'd be like, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what he does. That's what he does. He's not a stable person and he shouldn't be here. You know, and I'm like, oh my God.
Just got you out there looking wild, dog.
Looking crazy, looking nuts. Everybody forming an opinion about me. You know, and I know he's done it, so it makes me even more pissed off. So I act even more crazier because I know what you're doing, Mark. I know what you're doing. I was like, I'm not doing anything. What are you talking about? I'm just sitting here checking my email.
You sound like DC right now.
You think I'm gonna let you kill me, John? I'm gonna let you spit in my face, John?
But here's the thing. Honestly, the way that he would joke or the way that he would get at you, like it'd be wild and animated and creative. And I couldn't and like I can't fight that like at that high of a level. So then I'd be like,
you gotta
I'm
be
just
in a different game.
So yeah, so like Mike, so I was just like I just started following Jay-Z. I just started following Jay-Z's words. He's like, I don't argue, like not calling you a fool, but he said,
I know.
argue with fools.
Yeah.
Because a wise man from a distance can always tell who is who. And like, so that's what I started applying. Like, I'm going to let you
I'm
do
gonna tell you
all
a
crazy.
situation. I don't want to take up too much of the show for this situation, but it was this thing that Mark used to do that used to piss me off. He used to piss me off. We used to get in the desert where we was deployed. We used to get there, and we had one computer, right, to check our emails, and everybody's like, it had super fast connection, right? Because in the desert, you're in Kuwait, you're in Iraq, you can't get in touch with family. We would get to the desert, and this man, no matter who it was, he would log you off the computer, and he would just sit there and like check the news. You know, he know we all looking to get on our email. He would check the news. He would do all these things, you know what I mean, take his little sweet time, and then he'd get off. And everybody else got like 2 seconds to check and see if they got an email, you know what I'm saying? So one day, I don't know what happened to me that day, but I had it. Like, so this dude named Mark Hagee had logged on. He got called away. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna respect Mark Hagee's time. He logged off. He's gonna go take care of his business. He's gonna come back and check his email. Not Mark. Mark goes in there and logs him off. You know what I mean? Logs him off, checks his email, all this stuff. So me and Mark get in an argument. I'm like, yo, bro, why you just like bogarting this dude's like email time? You know, we made him go back and forth. Come, nah, he wasn't here, so I'm doing this. I'm like, yeah, but that's bullshit because you saw he was logged on. He locked the computer. Why you just gonna log my man's off? I was next in line. How you get here? Now, if Mark come back, he got right to the computer. You know, I'm just going off, and he just like, and Mark comes back. He's like, what's wrong with Ty? Mark's like, I don't know. He's just doing what he normally does. He's like, there's not a big. And Mark says, Mark looks at me. I'm defending this man, Mark Hagee, not Mark Coles, but Mark Hagee. I'm defending his time. He looks at me and says, yeah, Mark is right. It's not a big deal, Ty. I lost it. I just walked out. I lost it. I was like, that's it, bro. I want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore, bro. I don't care how much they pay me. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I'm the bad guy because I'm trying to let you get the computer time. You know what I mean? Like every morning, Mark would get here and just bully Mark Hagee off. Like, you know, I don't care if you got to check with your family. I'm going to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I finally speak up for you and you look at me like, yo, why are you tripping, homie? I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Yo, like I said, mental warfare, dog. That's just wild. He got the person that you was defending turn on you, dog.
To turn on me.
Yeah, man. What's
next
wrong
thing I
with you,
knew,
man?
I was just walking in the desert, bro. I was just walking. It was like just sand. I'm just walking. And I don't even know where I'm going. It ain't no monuments, nothing. It's just sand dunes, and I'm just walking. Like, I don't know how he does it. So,
yo, hey, Mark, you know what? I wasn't gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it now. From judging from these stories, you're every bit of the asshole that Q says you are. That's what I'll say. You know what that means. They might not understand it, but you know what that means. You know what I'm saying? That man Mark is master manipulator and shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, no and no, but okay.
Yeah, he's a smooth cat, man. I mean, to this day, like, you know, I would say things. I would do it on purpose. I would say the most cut deep, disrespectful things because I wanted him to react, and he would just be like, and walk off, and then go do something nice. Like, hey, man, I went to the chow hall. I know you like these chicken sandwiches, so here, I bought you 2 chicken sandwiches. I'm like, yo, bro, I just called you the most defiled name in the dictionary, and you bring me 2 chicken sandwiches? Like, what are you doing?
That motherfucker, yo, that motherfucker.
I'm looking at the sandwiches, bro. I'm looking like, did he spit in it? Did he put something on it? Nothing. Nothing.
Mark is an evil genius, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, he is. If Kill Him With Kindness had a face, it would be his face. His face.
He's the villain in the movie that by the end of the movie, like, you hate him, and then by the end of the movie, when he explains himself, you're like, shit, maybe he's not a villain. You know what? I kind of side with him a little bit more. Like, that's Mark right there, you know?
Hey, man. Hey, there's no friend that you guys would rather have. Just go ahead and admit it, man. It's no friend you would rather have.
This is what I will say, Tyrone. He ain't never did me like that. But then again, I don't be talking to him all crazy the way that you say you were. Look, man, all I know is, Tyrone, every time you or Mark mentions the fact that you talk crazy to him and outrageous, neither one of you guys want to bring up what you said. That lets me know how bad it was. That right there lets me know how bad it was. Okay?
Yeah, I'm not gonna bring up what I said.
And knowing that you were in the military and you were a maintainer and you're from St. Louis, you know what? I'm glad that you guys don't have to repeat that stuff, because I can only imagine if you guys don't want to say it out loud to me, then that's just got to be terrible. You're a horrible person, Tyrone.
Yeah, I can be a horrible person. Yeah, but after that reservation shit, I stopped talking shit to Poles. I stopped. I was like, I ain't talking shit to him no more because he's fucking with my head, bro.
How confused were you? Tyrone?
He was mentally neutering me, homie. Like, I was like, yo, I don't even want to talk shit to anybody anymore. Like, this is what I do. Everybody knows me for talking shit. I get kicked out of Facebook like 8 times a month, bro, because I can't control my mouth. And with him, I was just like, started to become like psychologically like neutered. Like, I was like, I don't want to say anything because I don't know what he's gonna do next. I might have a brand new car when I get home. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. He might pay my mortgage off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get home, talk all this shit, my house is paid for. What the hell?
Really, man. It's how you got to play the game sometimes.
That's funny though. Like, you brought out the pit bull, and he would attack the good guy. Yeah. And you're like, oh shit, man.
I would defend people, and he would make people say I'm an asshole for defending them. Like, why are you sticking up for me, Ty? You're an asshole. Cole should be able to take everything from me. Mark should be able to eat my food. Mark should be able to be with my wife. Why are you defending me? Like, let me just be the asshole. Let me just be the simp I am. Like, I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, you just can't let this man do this to you. No, I like Mark, and Mark can do whatever he wants. I gave him my debit card last night. Why are you defending it? Like, oh my God. I'm mind my business. You know, if you lose out, you lose out.
So what? You probably sitting there looking at other people just walking by, like, are you hearing this? Did you see that?
Yeah, I would go to people and be like, yo, they be like, you just been on edge. Maybe you just need to take a break, Ty. And I'm like, yo, it was like Get Out. It was like that movie Get Out, for real. It was like because Mark
you
would go
guys are
behind
trying
your
to make
back
me
and
look
make
crazy.
connections with people. You know what I mean? Mark would go back and he would do things with people and make people like him. So then here I am talking shit, cussing, loud. And they're like, I don't like that guy. Even if he is sticking up for me, I don't like him. Mark is chill. He's not angry like him. So
Yo, this is funny. This made my day. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to y'all. This is funny as shit.
like to this day, bro, like Mark is one of my best friends because like of what happened in that desert. You know what I mean? Like regardless of how nasty I was, like he wasn't. Like, and he was the only guy that could deal with me. He was the only guy. Nobody else could. As much as we talk about how we argued, nobody could deal with me. Only he could. You know, because like he said, I'm over there, I'm away from my family. You ain't got no girls, you ain't getting no release, you can't go do what you want to do. You working 12 hours a day, you working out. Internet's shoddy, so you don't know if you're gonna get a chance to talk to your kids. And so you get about month 4, you get kind of angry, you get kind of bitter. And he was the only person that could deal with me. Everybody else, I was just like, I'll chop your head off in a second. Like they were like, they would tell Mark, hey, go ask Ty if he wants to do this. He'd come over, hey, you want to do that? Yeah. So yeah, he kept me sane over there, man. So he's a good dude. Even though I say we argued a lot, he kept me sane.
This is a sidebar, like a motherfucker, but Mark, I don't name names. I hope that person is watching this episode and listening.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah. I hope they are too. I hope they are.
I hope that person is paying attention.
See, yeah, man. But those are out there got a little bit of story time, got a little bit of insight into us. We were Tyrone and I were deployed in Iraq and Kuwait together, um, and Sean know from the military as well. But anyway, that's all we got for this episode. Ain't much left to talk about because not much has happened. I do want to say this to you, Tyrone. I want to say this to you people out there. Maybe DC is playing a little bit of that psychological warfare because it seems as though he has changed his tune about Jon Jones. He has said, I'm going to pull the exact wording up that he used. But for those of you out there that you know anything about DC, you would know that he has worked tirelessly to discredit Jon Jones at every single turn that he's ever gotten. And he's anybody that Jon Jones has fought in the past, he has said, this could be the one that destroys him. This could be the guy. Like every single time, it doesn't matter. Like DC has tried to live vicariously through every single fighter that he's ever fought. But when it comes to Francis, this is a quote from DC. DC on Jon Jones. For everything that's between us, Jon Jones is not afraid of Francis Ngannou. This is absurd that people think that. Jon is one of the most talented guys that I've ever seen inside the octagon. And if you have to find someone that can piece together a way to solve the Ngannou puzzle, it's Jon Jones. So it seems like DC is taking a page out of my book and just trying to fight with kindness.
Dog, this is a classic case of trying to jinx somebody. Look, don't try to say it's just a random act of kindness, dog. Look, I gotta say this slow because I don't want to get cursed out tonight. Mark, he wanted to send my wife a message who's a hardcore Michigan fan. You know what I mean? The hardest of the hardcore. He decided to send her a message today stating that he wishes her team good luck in good fortune in the tournament today, knowing damn well he's an Ohio State fan. And they lost by 2 points tonight. So this is the classic. Like everything went exactly the way Mark wanted it to. He didn't wish that her team win today. That's not what he wanted, but he figured, hey, wishing ill on them hasn't been working so far. So now I'm going to wish good on them to see if the fortune is reversed. That's what DC's doing here, man. He's like, you know what? I think Francis has a chance. But just to make sure that I don't fuck it up, I'm going to be on Jon Jones' side this time. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Mark. Tell me I'm lying.
No, you're not wrong.
See,
That's the way I feel.
Mind games that Mark plays, folks. This is what we're talking about.
That's what I feel. I mean, so now I will say this, because I even messaged Jon Jones. He's yet to respond to me. So I've messaged him. And right after Ngannou won, there was 20 minutes of dick riding of Ngannou from DC. No other commentator could talk. It even got to the point where Ngannou made it out of the ring. He got awarded his belt. He got his belt from Dana White. Walked out of the ring. Did a photo op. Was sitting in the booth to talk to Joe Rogan, and DC was still going for it was like 5 minutes. This guy was going. Oh my God! You know how DC is.
Yeah.
So, and this is the guy Jon Jones has to face. If Jon Jones is watching, I wonder what he's thinking right now. It wasn't until after the press conference where Dana was like, I don't know. Jon Jones might need to go back to 185. I don't know why he said it, because he was at 205.
Yeah.
That where DC was like, oh, this fight may not happen. And I may not see the guy that I hate the most get his face beat in. So maybe I need to go ahead and side with Jon Jones, because I think Ngannou is the only person that can beat his face in since Izzy lost. So I'm going to go ahead and try to convince the boss man to make this fight happen and give Jon Jones whatever he needs, so I can sit there and commentate that fight while he's getting his face beat in. That's what I think DC's angle is. Because, I mean, if somebody was made me look stupid, like junior varsity, and I get to commentate your fight, I get to sit there and talk about how you get punched in the face. I get to talk over your knockout and be that highlight reel if you get knocked out, and everybody's gonna make a meme out of my reaction if you get knocked out. I will want that to happen too. That's what I think DC's angle is.
Tyrone, I think you're 1,000% spot on. I think DC, if that were to ever happen the way that DC wants it to happen, he would no longer. That would be the last fight that he does commentary on. I think he would just disappear into obscurity and just live the rest of his days out. Like, I think that would be it.
Yeah, that's what I think his angle is. I think that's his angle, is to get everybody sold on this fight, make it happen, hope that Ngannou beats Jon Jones, and then he's in heaven.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel dirty that I'm like 1,000% agreeing with Tyrone on this DC stuff, because now I feel like a hater. But I feel like DC is the ultimate hater, though. So like, I don't know, man. Like I nobody believes that DC is worth it.
When you want to be a hater, you gotta do an interview with DC. If you want to be a hater, you want to be a certified hater, get your hater badge. You got to go do a face-to-face interview with DC, and he'll decide if you can be a certified hater. That's how much a hater DC is.
He's the hater gatekeeper.
He mails out the hater certificates and he stamps it.
Oh man! All right, Mark, go ahead, man.
Hey, man. So, listen. With that being said, man, I don't have nothing else for this one. I think it's time to wrap it up. So, like, subscribe, all that good jazz. Follow us, Anchor, Google Podcasts, anywhere that you can catch a podcast, Spotify. Look us up, watch us, please watch us. Excuse me. And with that being said, man, listen, as always, if you're cool with us, we'll be cool with y'all. So please be cool with us so we can be cool with y'all. All right. Peace.
Peace.